Lie still and break, for a dream's sake. Chapter 2. Midoriya gives him a tour of the hospital for the morning. The cafeteria sparks a discussion on favorite foods, where Shota learns Midoriya is a fan of katsudon and has never tried a jelly pouch. Shota nearly bursts a vein holding in his laughter when a red-faced Midoriya cautions to stay away from on-call rooms, as doctors don't always just rest there. But the deeper they go, the more silent they get. The ER is mad, and Shota keeps getting hit with nausea as people and objects run into him, but Midoriya chimes that he likes to come here, sometimes, because he can pick up first aid skills. The operating blocks they visit quickly, none too keen on pondering how much like a mess of flesh bodies can turn out to be. The deepest part of the hospital is the morgue, and they go through it in utter silence. When they catch sight of a cadaver, Shota puts a hand on Midoriya's shoulder and steers him away. The boy doesn't protest, and they quietly go back to Shota's room. Seeing Hisashi sitting near his bed feels like a breath of fresh air. Seeing his tear-stained face is a punch in the gut. Why is he crying? Didn't he hear the doctor say I'll be fine? The doctors do their round at 9, Midoriya explains, and Shota can't help but be impressed that the kid managed to read his question on his face. He'll learn the good news soon, Aizawa-san. Let's go somewhere else. Shota orders more than says. I'm tired of seeing my own mug. In truth, guilt twists in his gut every time he chances a look at Hisashi. Even though it's not his fault he got injured or that he needs time to recover, it feels awful to make his friend worry. Oh, okay. Where did you have in mind? How about your room? Midoriya's face falls. I'd rather not, Aizawa-san. And fuck, of course he'd rather not. If Shota is annoyed at his situation after less than 12 hours, how must Midoriya feel after 12 months of this? And besides, he has no idea how damaged the kid's body looks. Maybe it's not a pretty sight. That's fair, kid. You have a place you like to go? Midoriya thinks for a minute as they hover over the threshold, Shota's shoulders tensing further with every hitch in Hisashi's breath. I do. It's just outside, actually. Follow me. The sunlight surprises Shota. This weird, muggy world is so muted, it fits the inside of the hospital very well. Glaring neon lights, white, clean tiles, bland wallpaper. It's like it erases the edges indoors and casts a gray sheen on everything. Outside, the gray sheen is still there, but the sunlight feels warm. It's nice, isn't it? Midoriya smiles shyly and reaches out for Shota's forearm. He's taken to doing that to help Shota navigate around, since Shota hasn't quite acquired the instinct of ghost moving yet. Here, this should be right around the corner. Tell me if the nausea gets a bit much, okay? We need to go through some solid parts. Midoriya takes them around the hospital and through a tight space between buildings that none but rodents and ghosts can pass through. There's no way for Shota's shoulders to avoid jostling the sides of the surrounding buildings and his non-stomach roils several times. He pushes through the discomfort, and they emerge on the other side. Immediately, 4 pairs of eyes focus on them. The place Midoriya has chosen is an alleyway much like the ones Shota patrols in, little used and littered with useless trash, but it gets a little sunlight at an angle at this time of the morning. And it's hosting a family of stray cats. Shota gets stared at for a full 30 seconds. He takes care to blink slowly, and they respond in kind. The leopard print cat gets back to cleaning itself unconcernedly. A calico one, smaller and younger, meows plaintively but hides behind a trash can. Meanwhile, a turtle shell cat and a tabby weave around Midoriya's ankles. They go through, of course, and Shota can't feel their fur when he carefully bends down to pet them, but somehow all parties are happy enough with the pretense. Midoriya sits with his back to the wall while Shota stands basking in the sunlight, and they're silent for some time. Shota thinks he could almost sleep here, he's that comfortable. But then the kid confesses in a small voice. I like them. Sometimes they look at me and it's like I'm there. A sidelong glance. Midoriya is focused on trying to touch the turtle shell cat, who seems particularly attached. You are there. Yeah, but, you know. They look at me and it's like I exist. Like I'm alive. Yeah. Shota manages around a tight throat. Sorrow, rage, and helplessness wage a war in his chest. He doesn't even know the kid. Shota's only seen kindness so far, but it's been a short time. Perhaps Midoriya is a terrible slacker, or a bore, or a mean-spirited gossip. but whatever else he is, he doesn't deserve this. What can I do? Just be there, a voice says in his mind. It sounds like Hisashi's. His friend's always been great with kids, so Shota takes his advice. How old are you, Midoriya? Oh, is it July yet? Shota shakes his head. Then 15, I think? He's the same age as my students. Shota hadn't expected that. Midoriya looks younger, but perhaps he's just small. No. I have long hair in my hero costume. More likely he remembers what he looked like at 14, so that's what he looks like as a ghost. He's never lived in his 15-year-old body after all. Shota chooses to gloss over that. So you like heroes then? Midoriya perks up, unwittingly dislodging the turtle-shell cat who stalks off in a huff. Yeah, I really love them. Who's your favorite? All Might! There's no hesitation in the kid's voice at all. Ouch. I heard he's teaching at UA this year, Aizawa-san. Is it true? Yes, it's true. Shota takes care to erase any aggravation from his voice. No need to antagonize the kid, questionable taste in heroes aside. You're also a teacher there, right? Mm-hmm. What do you teach? A shrug. Heroics. Silence. Midoriya looks conflicted. Great going there, Shota. You're gonna need to ditch monosyllabic if you want to interact with the kid. As annoying as it is to occasionally have Hisashi's voice floating in his mind, just because he knows the man that well, in this instance he does have a point. Shota casts for what else to say. And then, because he has no idea, he defaults to what he does know. Do you want me to teach you some stuff? Midoriya shoots to his feet so fast he floats up to levitating height. You want to? Sure. Well, some. Physical heroics is out of the question for logical reasons. I have no idea how to move as a ghost besides what you told me. But I can still teach you everything else that falls under heroics, though. Like what? The law, ethics, the hero industry, how to develop useful passive skills, analysis. Hell, I don't know, kid. You pick. Midoriya's eyes fill with tears. Shota thinks he's made a grave mistake. Then the kid cannonballs into him, and the only reason he doesn't hit the wall is that they're both ghosts who pass through them. He rights them both and waves off Midoriya's panicked apology. A quiet realization comes over him then, that yes, Midoriya must be touch-starved after a year, and yes, he had just been too polite to want to bother Shota with a request for a hug. A moment passes where Midoriya blubbers in the throes of high emotion, and Shota just softly pats his head. And then the kid wipes his tears and looks up. His eyes are bright with hope, and for the first time since meeting the kid, Shota doesn't feel like he screwed up. Aizawa-san? Can I call you Sensei? End of Chapter 2. Thank you so much for listening. If you're enjoying this story, please let the author know at the original work linked down in the description below. If you're enjoying listening to this, please let me know.